Polite words and careful manipulation of outward emotions keep suspicion at bay as the journey continues toward the territory of the Earth Tribe under the watchful eyes of Seohuachuel. Knowing that failing to manifest a consciousness in the form of a dragon within 4 days would invite greater scrutiny, a clever solution is enacted. Instead of risking the dangerous summoning wind, true blood transformation, the more familiar summoning wind, dragon transformation is performed through the help of Yuan Yu's consciousness. With this, the appearance of a proper dragon-shaped consciousness is achieved, drawing praise and well wishes from the demon representatives. Soon, arrival at the True Dragon Alliance territory is met with awe at its vast, mystical landscape, mountain ranges, and rivers that resemble the bones and veins of a colossal dragon. Gu Rion reveals that the land is built atop the ancient corpse of the dragon ancestor, whose size dwarfs even the largest human territory. The headquarters of the True Dragon Alliance, the Serving Command Arc, stands at the neck of this ancient being, a massive square mountain that contains an entire world within, echoing the grandeur of lost immortal treasures. Inside, surrounded by clouds and mountain ranges, the group is guided by Gu Rion to register among the dragon race. Members of the sea dragon race carve their names into the skulls of dragon kings, receiving radiant identity patterns. For a human to be accepted, a piece of the recommender's body is required. Seohuel provides a scale, which is transformed into an identity plaque. Curiosity rises at why, oh hi, Seo is not given one, but the reason remains unclear. The sea dragon race is granted the vast Cloud Heart Lake as their new territory, a place brimming with spiritual energy and connected to the ancestral dragon's blood vein. Plans are made to subdue the resident water demon beasts and establish dominance, while protocol and titles are reconsidered in light of their new standing. With the elders descending to claim their new home, Seohuel prepares to fulfill his promise of recommending participation in the immortal beast blood fusion, a competition where prodigies vie for the true blood of immortal beasts, granting superior power to the victors. Only with powerful backing can outsiders join, and the chance is now at hand. As Seohuel tends to business in the Serving Command Arc, an opportunity arises to explore the demon market below, seeking new cultivation methods and preparing for the challenges to come. In the sweltering market of the True Dragon Alliance, where members of the demon race trade goods and methods in their true forms, the atmosphere is both lively and orderly, with spiritual energy rather than sound filling the air. Among the stalls, methods are sold not as books, but inscribed on bones, horns, or skin, each carrying the unique flows of yin and yang. Some demons even detach parts of their bodies, like a bipedal ox selling its own horn, to exchange for spirit stone, demonstrating the ease of regeneration for high-level demons. The protagonist, disguised in the appearance of the dragon race, navigates the method market and learns from a flounder merchant that the Earth Tribe, unlike the Heaven Tribe, lacks standardized cultivation technique. Each demon develops their own method based on instinct, and these are often traded, creating a vibrant exchange that even attracts the Heaven Tribe. After acquiring a foundational method called the Vast Code Formula and some other promising manuals, the protagonist returns to wait for Seohuel, who has been busy inside a stone building. As dusk falls and the spiritual energy of the world shifts, Seohuel emerges, greeting the protagonist warmly, but with a sudden surge of suspicion. Despite the protagonist's careful precautions and the use of a clone to cover his absence, Seohuel's wariness is inexplicably heightened. As they travel together, Seohuel reveals the True Dragon Alliance's new plan, the entire Earth Tribe naming project, which seeks to give names to all members of the Earth Tribe and manage them, believing that names hold power over fate. He hints that the protagonist will be chosen to represent the Sea Dragon race in this project. Upon returning to the newly built Sea Dragon Palace, the protagonist is left to ponder Seohuel's intention. Inspecting the identity plaque given earlier, he is struck by the realization that it carries intent. He had been monitored the entire time he was at the market. A chill runs down his spine as he comprehends the scope of Seohuel's surveillance, deepening the uncertainty of what lies ahead. The protagonist, ever cautious, under the watchful gaze of Seohuel and the Sea Dragon Palace, investigates the identity plaque and discovers that it tracks his location by a spiritual energy tied directly to Seohuel. Aware that his every move is being observed through spiritual veins in his room, he employs the wonderfully mysterious heart cannon to discreetly alter these surveillance channels, feeding false information to his watchers and gaining some freedom within his quarters. Although tempted to tamper with the identity plaque itself, he refrains for now, Wary of alerting Seo Hechuel, with this limited freedom, he retrieves the power stored in his canvas of myriad forms and connections by merging with the artifact's spirit, recovering significant cultivation, and beginning the process of regaining his former strength. The next day, summoned by Seo Huel, he is greeted warmly but quickly realizes that an insidious brainwashing spell disguised as a mental clarity technique permeates the room, subtly manipulating affection and loyalty towards Seo Huel. Although powerful, the protagonist's advanced understanding of consciousness and cultivation allows him to recognize and resist the brainwashing. Feigning gratitude, he inquires about his missing colleague, Oh Haye Seo, only to receive a practiced lie from Seo Huel about her supposed well-being and ongoing assimilation ritual. Sensing deception, the protagonist refrains from pushing further, focusing instead on preparing for the upcoming Immortal Beast Blood Fusion, a brutal competition in which only the strongest demon race members survive to gain Immortal Beast, True Blood, and into which Seo Hail suspiciously encourages his participation. Returning to his room, the protagonist leverages his control over the palace's surveillance veins to install his own circuits, gradually seizing control of the monitoring network and extending his reach throughout the palace. Despite months of careful observation, he finds no trace of Oh Hye Seo, confirming Seo Huel's deceit. As the time for the Immortal Beast Blood Fusion arrives, he has regained late-stage chi-building cultivation and enhanced his ability to manipulate the palace's surveillance, but the constraints of Seo Huel's psychological and magical manipulation remain suffocating. On the day of the competition, despite open hostility from the Sea Dragon race, the protagonist maintains composure and follows Seo Haywell to the Serving Command Arc, the site of the deadly contest. Internally, he reflects on Seo Haywell's mastery of control and the difficulty of navigating such an environment, all while his concern for Oh Hai Seo's fate grows. With the stage set for the Immortal Beast Blood Fusion, the protagonist steels himself for the challenges ahead, determined to unravel Seo Hawel's secrets and pursue his own goals. After descending to the lowest, most desolate level of the Serving Command Arc with Seo Hewal and the gathered demon beast contenders, the group finds themselves in the emptiness floor, a place void of all warmth, light, and even spiritual energy. Here, the elder Gu Ryon appears, radiating a golden light of pure life force, and explains the rules of the Immortal Beast Blood Fusion. Only the last 100 survivors will succeed, and the number of participants is marked visibly on each of their bodies. The test begins as the desert beneath their feet collapses into absolute darkness and cold, stripping life force from everyone present. As the ordeal drags on, the number of participants rapidly diminishes, and the oppressive cold and darkness intensify. The protagonist relies on the spiritual energy stored in the canvas of myriad forms and connections and begins cultivating the Azure Spirit, Starlight Quintessence Great Method, which maximizes life force, enduring the suffering and resisting the creeping numbness of death. Months pass, then years, as the numbers dwindle. When only 100 remain, nothing changes. The survivors are not transported away, and time in the void stretches on, unbroken and merciless. Suspecting something has gone wrong, the protagonist clings to survival, turning to the vast code formula, a foundational demon beast method, and continues to endure through the years. Through agonizing cultivation and repeated explosions of spiritual energy within the Dantian, an evolution occurs, merging human body refining methods and demon beast techniques. This transformation reveals the true nature of life force and the origins of martial arts, granting new insight and power, but also draining the last reserves of spiritual energy. On the brink of death, after 10 years in the void, the protagonist suddenly finds himself before a bonfire in a strange space without light but full of clear perception. Here, he is confronted by an overwhelming presence who reveals itself as Bong Myung, the creator of the Serving Command, Arc, and a true immortal. Time is distorted for their conversation, and the protagonist, awestruck and terrified, realizes he is in the presence of a being far beyond mortal understanding, signaling the beginning of a new and fateful exchange. Overwhelmed by an all-consuming chaos and pain, a forceful voice drags the mind back from the brink of madness, demanding answers to 3 cryptic questions. Each question prods at fate, the mysterious circumstances of arrival in this world, and the knowledge of supreme beings. Questions that unsettle and nearly shatter the mind, revealing little. The enigmatic being, Bong Myung, Extracts meaning even from silence, cautioning about the peril of speaking or even thinking carelessly, especially where light shines, for the light itself is a servant of an even more dreadful power. A warning is given: stay silent, beware of curiosity, and trust nothing that seems harmless, not even sunlight. Despite the terror of the encounter, a rare mercy is granted, time is distorted, and the protagonist is returned to reality. Memory of the being's name erased for safety. Only 4 months have passed in the world, though 10 years of darkness and struggle were endured within. This ordeal leaves a deep mark, making even the warmth and brightness of the present seem fragile and fleeting. Gurion announces the end of the immortal beast blood fusion, bestowing the true blood of immortal beasts upon the surviving 100. As the ceremony proceeds, the protagonist is haunted by the memory of the encounter with the true immortal, questioning the sanity and courage needed to pursue the dangerous goal of stealing the heavenly lightning banner. Seo Hates-Rail, ever the schemer, offers further cultivation and assimilation techniques, but the protagonist recognizes the trap within the offer, seeing the fate of Oh Heye Seo as a dire warning. Called to select one of the 7 immortal beast true bloods, the protagonist is surrounded by the flickering forms of legendary beasts, each with their own histories and rivalries. Despite everything, the determination to achieve the impossible, to steal the heavenly lightning banner and thwart the disasters orchestrated by Seo Huel returns, fueled not by hope, but by the sharp, sobering disgust at Seo Huel's manipulation. With this renewed resolve, the protagonist steps onto the stage, ready to choose and accept the next step in a journey shadowed by powers beyond comprehension. After carefully considering the options, the protagonist chooses to receive the Black Dragon's true blood, knowing it will provide both the power and status needed to move freely among the dragon race, especially within the Sea Dragon branch. This choice is not only about personal cultivation, but also about gaining access to secrets and alliances that could prove crucial in the coming conflict with the Devil Realm. Despite the risks of being influenced by the Black Dragon King through the blood, the protagonist is confident that such manipulation is less threatening than other dangers faced in the past. Upon returning to the Sea Dragon Palace, the protagonist's plans start unfolding. While Seo Huel, the powerful patron within the Sea Dragon race, appears gracious and supportive, the protagonist has already orchestrated events behind the scenes, having arranged for aquatic demon beasts to infiltrate and rob the Sea Dragon Palace's treasury while the main forces were away. Chaos caused by the theft gives the protagonist a critical window of freedom, as Seo Huel is forced to focus on internal disciplinary measures rather than overseeing the protagonist's cultivation. With 3 days of relative freedom secured, the protagonist drafts a respectful and enticing letter to Gyu Rion, a dragon who has shown clear affection for Seo Huel and is high enough in status to assist with refining the true blood. The letter offers rare treasures and appeals to her feelings, hoping to persuade her to host the refinement away from Seo Huel's watchful eye. Using the dragon communication pond, the protagonist sends the letter, cleverly erasing any traces of the message from the palace records. 2 days later, Yurion arrives in person, eager and flustered by both the request and her feelings for Seo Huel. The Sea Dragon race elders and Seo Huel quickly appear, and while Seo Huel acts gracious, it's clear his real aim is to keep the protagonist within his sphere of influence. He suggests the refinement happen in the Sea Dragon Palace, even going so far as to subtly manipulate the situation by offering to send his own people to Gu Ryan's domain under the pretext of helping her suppress a rebellion among her slaves. Despite these machinations, Gu Ryan insists on returning to her own domain, and the protagonist, with a group of Sea Dragon warriors assigned to monitor him, travels with her. Upon arrival, Gyu Rion prepares to assist with the refinement, but the protagonist volunteers to help suppress the rebellion as well, knowing this will remove the immediate pretext for surveillance and possibly allow more freedom to act. Before the group departs to deal with the rebellion, Gyu Rion warns them of a new complication. A member of the Heart Tribe, famous for their strange and dangerous abilities, has appeared among the rebelling slaves. The protagonist readies for this new challenge, fully aware that the next steps will be crucial for both escaping Seo Huel's influence and advancing further along the path of cultivation. As the group pursues Gurion's signal, The Sea Dragon warriors remain indifferent to warnings about the Heart Tribe, seemingly unaware of the tribe's true power and reputation in the bright cold realm. While the warriors focus on quelling a rebellion at a massive Long Spirit Woodflower farm, a vital resource for cultivator clothing, attention shifts to the desperate races igniting the fields, many of them weak slave races often exploited by the dominant Heaven and Earth tribes. In the chaos, a wave of extraordinary power signals the presence of the Heart Tribe, known for their mysterious Heart Path method and feared for their strength. While the Sea Dragon warriors engage with overwhelming force, they encounter a resistance far beyond their expectations. One by one, they are overpowered, their thoughts read with chilling precision, and their life force drained by the Heart Tribe's ability. The leader of these warriors, Zhang Gyok, finds his bravado useless as he and his companions are effortlessly killed by an entity whose mere presence unsettles their very souls. Meanwhile, Seo Eunhyun seeks out a Heart Tribe member, encountering a goat demon slave marked by scars and wielding a whip. Their battle is fierce and technical, with Seo Eunhyun pressing his advantage and the goat demon realizing its own inferiority. The duel is interrupted by the arrival of the true Heart Tribe powerhouse, the Scarlet River, who easily subdues both combatants and grants the goats race-safe passage as promised. A heavy lethargy and sense of impending danger descend upon So Eun-hyun, but recognizing the futility of further conflict, he concedes and allows the Heart Tribe to leave. Before departing, the Scarlet River offers to answer a question. As a gesture of thanks, Seo Eun-hyun asks about the Heart Path method, only to receive a cryptic, almost mocking reply. There is no such thing as the Heart Path method in this world. The mystery deepens, leaving more questions than answers, as the power and enigma of the Heart Tribe loom larger than ever. As the confrontation with the mysterious river being of the Heart Tribe continues, their voice and identity shift fluidly, revealing the Heart Tribe's nature as something incomprehensible to the systematic approaches of the Heaven and Earth tribes. The protagonist attempts to understand the true nature of manifestation and the Heart Path, but is told that such realms are born not from technique but from a deep burning longing unique to each individual, a longing so intense that it fuses internal and external heart essences into one. The Heart Tribe envoy admits to using their manifestation power not for brainwashing, but to plunge others into dreams, seeking to neutralize threats or spear potential Heart Tribe members away. As the protagonist struggles to escape this illusion, he realizes he was almost ensnared, but manages to break free with his own martial arts, only to find the situation around him has shifted. The envoy reveals his mission: to infiltrate the Heaven and Earth tribes, help the weak slave races give birth to Heart Tribe members, and, if possible, kill powerful masters. The conversation is interrupted as the goat, Baek Nyong, once a slave overseer who mastered the art of the whip through self-inflicted pain to protect his kin, confronts a nascent soul stage boar, an administrator of the cotton plantation. Despite the boar's superior cultivation, Baek Nyong's mastery of weight and attack allows him to overwhelm his foe, driven by years of suffering and longing. Suddenly, the bodies of the Sea Dragon warriors, previously put to sleep, convulse and burst with spiritual energy, summoning the true form of Seo Huel through their sacrifice. Pressure of Seo Huel's presence is overwhelming. He manipulates the narrative, painting himself as a benevolent leader, mourning the loss of his warriors, while using their deaths as a justification to seize Baek Nyong via a spatial rift. The Heart Tribe envoy attempts to intervene with their trump card, but Seo Huel coldly uses the corpses of his own race as shields, ultimately succeeding in abducting Baek Nyong and then vanishing with a chilling farewell. The protagonist is left pondering Seo Huel's cunning. Seo Huel had apparently planned to use this method to capture the protagonist if necessary, indicating how highly he values the protagonist and his companion. Recognizing this, the protagonist realizes Seo Huel is confident that, through his manipulations and by holding "Oh, hi, Seo" as leverage, the protagonist will inevitably come to him willingly. After the chaos, the Heart Tribe envoy departs with a promise to meet again, and the protagonist and the boar report the failed rebellion to Gu Rion, the domain's lord. They keep silent about Seo Huel's true actions. The incident is temporarily resolved, and, as agreed, the protagonist prepares to refine the Black Dragon's immortal beast, True Blood, in a ritual circle drawn with dragon blood. As the process begins, the protagonist is engulfed in darkness and confronted by the will of the Black Dragon itself, who demands to know how a mortal with less than 50 years of life holds over 2,000 years of history. The trial of refining the immortal beast. True Blood has begun, with a direct confrontation with the will of the ancient dragon. A confrontation with the remnant will of the black dragon begins, its presence immense despite being only a fragment within a drop of blood. Unlike the overwhelming pressure of him, the black dragon feels distant, yet its gaze holds a different kind of power. Suddenly, the black dragon's will tears apart body and soul within the mental world, dissecting down to the double helices of spiritual energy. In this process, the protagonist relives their life, but this time, the memories do not include regression. Only the current life unfolds, ending at the encounter with him. The black dragon halts its search upon recognizing a barrier left by him, a mystery even to itself, and questions the protagonist about their attempt to refine the immortal beast's true blood. Through a chilling exchange, the black dragon reveals that only those who have lived less than 1,000 years can accept the immortal beast's true blood, as their vessels are not yet full. The protagonist, having survived over 2,000 years through regression, is both overqualified and at risk of collapse from receiving more power. Yet, the black dragon is intrigued, pondering whether such an anomaly can truly bear its power. As its interest crosses dimensions, the protagonist feels their existence unravel, nearly consumed by the black dragon's essence. Snapping back to consciousness, the protagonist finds themselves restrained by blood-red spears placed there by Gurion to suppress the berserk rampage caused by the black dragon's power. Gurion explains that the true blood's power is still integrating, and the struggle within is the process of embracing Taiyin authority. As golden energy flows, the protagonist guides the yin and yang within through demon beast methods, remolding their body as black horns, scales, and talons emerge. The wildness of 2,000 years threatens to devour their mind, but with Gyu Ryon's intervention, her golden energy, and a powerful stomp to the skull, protagonist's consciousness is forcibly reset. In the ensuing darkness, the black dragon's voice offers a warning. Its power is poisoned, disaster awaits. But the protagonist is undeterred and uses the opportunity to question the Black Dragon about the Black Dragon King in the Blood Yin realm. The answer reveals a fallen, true immortal entangled with the Black Dragon's bloodline, but hearing the true immortal's name nearly destroys the protagonist's mind, and all memory of the conversation is wiped away. Regaining consciousness, the protagonist finds their head regenerated and their cultivation at the core formation stage, far beyond what should be possible. The transformation is complete. Their demon core has become a golden core, and the power of Taiyin flows as a supernatural ability. Invited by Gurion to test this new strength, the protagonist steps outside as the heavenly tribulation, previously held at bay, now descends with even greater force. Drawing on the combined powers of heaven, earth, and heart, the protagonist unleashes the Severing Mountain swordsmanship, channeling the Black Dragon's power to shatter the lightning and clear the sky. With this act, the protagonist's vision expands. They now perceive the yin and yang of heaven and earth as a grand taiji, realizing they have finally and completely become a member of the Earth Tribe. Having traversed the paths of heaven and heart, they now stand firmly within earth, embracing a new realm of power and identity. Gu Rion appears as the protagonist admires the sky, remarking on the rare heavenly rejection phenomenon and praising his supposed genius, though he internally scoffs at the compliment. Gu Rion's mood brightens at the mention of Seo Huel, and after a brief, awkward exchange, she entrusts the protagonist with a letter to deliver to Elder Hoyo of the Azure Pongray. Using his newly mastered flying techniques, empowered by the Black Dragon's true blood, he travels efficiently across the land, stopping by the life floor of the serving command, Ark, to locate Ho Yale. Upon delivering the letter, he learns about the controversial Earth Tribe naming project, an ambitious plan to name and track every member of the Earth Tribe, which many see as foolish and impossible, but which Seo Hueo strongly supports. After spending some time among the Azure Peng race and observing their skepticism, the protagonist tours the Earth Tribe territory before returning to the Sea Dragon Palace. He notices significant changes, new coral reefs teeming with slave laborers, and, unexpectedly, members of Bayek Nyong's goat race serving as overseers. Inside, the Sea Dragon guards are shocked by his transformation after refining the Black Dragon's blood, but he provokes them and gains entry. Seo Huel welcomes him, attempts to usher him into a suspicious new room, but the protagonist preempts any tricks by revealing his new connections among the Earth tribe. During their exchange, Bayek Nyong is introduced. He and his kin were freed from slavery by Seo Hewell and are now loyal overseers. The protagonist senses that Bayek Nyong has revealed his heart tribe identity to Seo Hewell, but decides to play dumb, realizing that Seo Hewell is now even more inscrutable. The protagonist and Seo Hewell attend a high-level meeting about the naming project at the Serving Command Arc, joined by representatives of the 13 major Earth tribe races. The assembly is initially chaotic, with strong opposition and heated debate about the feasibility and purpose of the project. Seo Hewell, using subtle influence and his connection to the Black Dragon race, gradually takes control of the proceedings, establishing rules and moderation and skillfully steering the discussion toward approval of the project. His proposal, turning opposing minor races into elixirs for distribution among the major races, is chillingly approved, and the project moves forward. On the way back, the protagonist questions Seo Hewell's true motives. Seo Hewell tells a legend about the Bright Cold Realm's name change from Vast Cold and the supposed fortunes brought by auspicious names, implying that spreading names is a sacred duty for the Earth tribe. The protagonist, however, remains skeptical, feeling uneasy about his own name being added to the Dragon Register. Later, eavesdropping on Seo Hewell's private meeting with Sea Dragon elders, the protagonist uncovers the real objective. Seo Hewell instructs his followers to seek beings with the characters for cause and connection in their names, individuals fated to be together through countless cycles, destined to love and die together. The protagonist realizes with a chill that Seo Hewell's search may be connected to couples he knows personally, and that all of this is ultimately in service of the Sea Dragon race's prosperity, orchestrated through fate and the manipulation of names.